Welcome to the MDM podcast. I'm senior editor Vesna Brajkovic, and today we're diving into hybrid sales and specifically the part of hybrid sales with the power to transform distribution companies, which is technology. If you know it's time to evaluate your sales approach and tech stack, not just check a box or renew a subscription, but really look critically at whether it's delivering results for your team, then this episode is for you. Today, I'm here with Ben Albu, who spent over 20 years at the top electrical distributor Wesco in various leadership positions before founding Rocky Rail Ventures. His expertise spans from innovation and technology to commercial strategy, and in just a few weeks, on May 13th through the 15th in Denver, Ben will be leading a session on this exact topic at our Shift conference. So consider today's conversation really a preview of some of the game-changing insights we'll have at Shift. And if you like what Ben shares today and it really resonates with you, head over to mdm.com to register and check out our other amazing speakers. The distribution landscape is changing fast, and this is your chance to stay ahead. Ben, welcome to the MDM podcast. I'm so glad you're here to help our listeners understand a little bit about how to leverage technology for sales success.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody next month at Shift. And one small correction right off the bat, even if you don't like what I have to say, sign up for Shift. There's a phenomenal set of speakers and topics that are there. Hopefully you'll like what I have to share today, but if not, don't use it as a disqualifier.
I love that. So I wanted to start the conversation today by really cutting through some of this noise around technology, because there's always something new and shining around the corner, especially with these big promises to make salespeople more efficient and better. So I guess, how would you frame it for our distributors who are listening, who are looking really critically at their sales processes? What process should distributors really take to assess and maybe accurately assess their technology needs and requirements?
Wonderful question. And I'll say first and foremost, be pragmatic about it. The process that you choose is really a function of your organization, your starting point. It's the classic, it depends. There are different processes work well for different distributors and different industries and different backgrounds and different cultures. Regardless, though, of the process, there is a singular outcome that is needed. And that singular outcome is a clear set of capabilities that you require to unlock what you're looking to do from a hybrid sales perspective. These capabilities should be clearly defined, and they need to be quantified. And what I mean by that is you need to know what they are in plain language and how much they're worth. That once we have this capability, we will see this amount. We expect to see this amount of top line improvement, this amount of margin accretion, and this amount of bottom line net income benefit as well. That clear list of starting point capabilities is the starting point for any journey where you're looking to bring technology into a hybrid sales environment.
And when you're thinking about distributors in different companies, and what is maybe the most overlooked capabilities for building this hybrid sales tech stack?
Yeah, it's another, I hate to say it depends. It really depends on what kind of hybrid sales organization you have or are looking to build. If you're one that is primarily, say, outside sales driven with maybe a long sales cycle and a highly technical product with a lot of configuration and iteration prior to a sale, it's a different set of capabilities than if you're primarily an inside sales driven organization or a customer support driven organization or on large blanket contracts, those kinds of things. So it depends on what the capabilities are, which again is why it's critical to have a clear perspective on what capabilities you're looking to put in place. With that said, there is sort of one overarching technology over the past couple of years that's matured to the point where I've yet to see a distributor really in any industry that doesn't see operational benefit from it. And that's sales automation tools. If today you're still entering a purchase order into a sales order, into your sales order system or into your ERP, now's a fresh time to look at that. The technologies have come to the point now where the vast majority, and in some cases 100%, of customer purchase orders should be fully automated in terms of entry into the systems that you operate, and they're relatively economical. They're fairly easy to deploy, and these are technologies that are much more mature than they were just 3, 4, 5 years ago, and are beginning to even have some AI capabilities baked into them that allow for even broader use than maybe the fairly rigid templates that were there a few years ago and even pre-COVID. So that'd be one I'd say is a good starting point for everybody if you're looking for efficiencies. But really start with what you're trying to do and then map it to the technology universe that's out there that can do it for you.
And so you said it depends twice already, so we have a cap on 3. So I'll give you
Three.
one
All
more
right.
in this
One more.
episode.
I'll probably use it quick.
So I want to talk specifics too, like you mentioned. What are some of the most critical technologies and tools for sales teams to really maximize the revenue potential in 2025?
Yeah, it's that I'm going to use again. It really is. It depends. What is the capability you're looking to unlock, and then what is the technology? Um, it's really difficult. In fact, it's impossible to answer that in abstract because it is circumstantial to what the company is looking to do. I will say this, that the process for getting to that capability is often shortchanged. Many times companies will go right to a technology sourcing activity, oftentimes led by the technology team, or maybe a partner or consultant or somebody you met at a conference comes in and kind of helps you with that. I would encourage any distributor to start with their strategy. What are they looking to do in the business? And then where can't they accomplish what they're looking to do with their existing means, either their existing operations, their existing sales model, or their existing technologies, and then begin the jumping off point there to the specific technologies that they're looking to do. In this day and age, there really is a technology for almost anything a distributor wants to accomplish. The last little bit of advice I'll offer on that, though, is to be wary of anything that isn't at least 4 years old. And I know that may be a little bit apocryphal to say at a technology centric environment, because we all love the new stuff. But the reality is that the products that are coming to market don't usually come to market first for distributors. They come to market for other environments and other applications. And over time, folks like myself and others that have spent a lot of time in the industry find ways to bend those and mold those to make them work with distribution-specific tech stacks, but also distribution-specific business processes. And so it usually takes about 4 years at a minimum for those things to come around. A great example of that is RPA, robotic process automation. Robotic process automation actually started way back in 2001 was the first company that founded it. It was 2013, I think, that UiPath, or maybe even before that they put out the first RPA suite. Now, today, it's becoming ubiquitous across a variety of industries and in distribution, but it really took a decade plus to get there. So be wary of anything less than 4 years old. Stay with the capability set that you need, and then map to what you're looking to do.
So once companies invest in these tools, adoption is the next layer. So how can executives ensure, if they can even ensure, that their teams are actually leveraging those tools effectively rather than just checking the boxes?
Yeah, I love this question, and this will be a topic that we'll expand upon quite a bit, I think, actually, and it shift, because the reality of the situation is the enterprise technology graveyard is large, but the largest section of that graveyard by a good measure is the portion that's dedicated to sales tools and CRM applications. I've yet to meet a distribution professional who's been around a while who can't tell war stories of at least 1, 2, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 failed CRM deployments or failed sales tool deployments, whether they're built in-house or bought on the open market or integrated or a consulting firm helped develop them. We all have examples of where these have failed. That's not true in most other technology deployments. ERPs are difficult to put in, but many of us don't have a half dozen failed ERP deployment experiences. Accounting packages are difficult. HR systems are difficult. Operations platforms are difficult, but they don't have the same lineage of failure, candidly, that the CRMs and sales applications do. The reason for that is not the sales products. Actually, it's not that the CRMs or the sales products aren't any good. It's that salespeople are different, and a lot of times we fail to accommodate for that. The sales profession is the most independent role at your business, in all likelihood, if you're a distributor. People that become sales professionals gravitate to that role because it has a high degree of autonomy. There's a singular objective, typically, which is to sell product and sell it efficiently at a fair price with as optimized as margin as possible. But how you go about doing that as a salesperson, in many cases, it's largely up to you. You've got a bag, you've got some product demonstration tools, you've got a catalog, maybe you've got some sales processes, you've got some training, and you as an individual pick from that toolkit that you have to be effective in your job. It's really the only role in an enterprise that's set up that way. Accountants don't get to pick how they enter and make journal entries. Credit and collections professionals don't get to pick how they done customers and how they extend credit. Lawyers don't get to pick the law. Every other profession inside of a distributor doesn't have that same level of autonomy. Yet when we deploy technology in the sales role, we treat it like it's any other function inside of the company. We set up processes, we set up dashboards, we set up things that they have to check the box on. And most importantly, and this is what we'll unpack at Shift, we fail to treat the salesperson like they're the customer. We need to think about it. Successful deployments think about the salesperson like a software executive thinks about their product. They look to find ways to bring value to the salesperson, to make their job better, to make their job easier, to make their job more profitable, not just through the eyes of the enterprise, but through the eyes of the salesperson. What is that killer feature, that killer app that a salesperson wants to use, has to use in order to unlock value? Once you've identified that, build everything else around it. Build the enterprise capability suite around it. We'll share a couple of examples at Shift that really bring this to life and practically how it happens. But in every case I've ever looked at personally of a failed CRM deployment or a failed sales tool deployment, if you really ask the salespeople after the fact, why didn't you use that? Why did you check the box? Why did you do what you always do when presented with something that you have to do but don't want to do? Whether it's a new physical product that just maybe is too high price or doesn't have enough features, or a new CRM that you have to use for a little bit of period of time. Why'd you do it? They're going to say the same thing. They always say the same thing. There really wasn't anything for me. I didn't see the value. I didn't see why I had to use it at the end of the day. They have veto power. Recognizing that out of the gate is important. And then engineering your deployment with that in mind, building the product that is the sales tool with that in mind is really the key success factor and unlock.
Well, I can't wait for the Shift session. I think we'll really dive in, and we might even get some really good audience questions too during that session.
Hope so.
I'm excited about that. So talking about really the criteria for evaluating potential technology solutions, I want to talk about what are some red flags or things that really stick out for you to just know right away, this particular technology or this partner, maybe this isn't right for my company.
One of the things I love about distribution, the reason I've stayed in my entire career, is we're all salespeople at the end of the day. Every single person at a distributor is a salesperson. And that means we're usually pretty good at identifying sales tactics and sales approaches, be it from software companies or consultants or integration providers.
That's so funny.
However, that seems to fall away when we're talking software for some reason. The first red flag is you've come in with this list of capabilities, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 things max that you have to have. And within the first series of conversations, the salesperson at the software company or the integrator or the consultant is bending the conversation away from those 5 to maybe some other things and better fit what they're looking to sell. That's a red flag. If they're trying to do that, evaluate the circumstance. As the implementation starts, as okay, we've bought the licenses, we've selected a partner to help us bring it in. This is an obvious one, but it's often overlooked. Any early failure. In the first few weeks, if there's a disconnect between what you're seeing, even before the product is stood up, what you're seeing and what you're hearing versus what the endpoint was, don't be afraid to call it early. These are long-term projects and programs. A short one goes months, an average one goes years. In almost every failure example, you can point back to something in the first 3 or 4 weeks that most folks, most CEOs, CIOs, VP of sales, chief revenue officers tell you, well, we probably should have known. Be wary of an early failure. Doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but make sure you understand what the root cause of that failure was. And if it goes to the tech, if it goes to the architecture, and even more importantly, if it goes to, hey, they're trying to engineer around delivering that capability that you wanted to something else, maybe that's got whistles and buzzers on it, pull the plug and move on and make another selection.
I want to switch gears a little bit to team collaboration. So I've heard from a lot of readers who talk about the challenges in hybrid sales is really maintaining a strong collaboration between inside sales, outside sales, and other customer-facing teams. So do you think that technology has the potential to improve that kind of collaboration?
Yeah, I think it very well might only be the only way to deliver that kind of collaboration. There are some historical ways to go about doing it. I'm actually a big proponent of like a daily sales stand in the morning with hybrid sales where everybody is communicating on a daily basis. That's a great way to drive. I know it's not technology enabled, but it is very effective. Technology, though, makes it more real time and more ubiquitous. customer 360 applications, where if you have customers that are engaging not just with maybe your inside sales person and your outside salesperson, your sales engineer, customer support, but also through apps or widgets or e-commerce sites that you have in your business, ensuring that your sales team has visibility of all of those touches if and when they're occurring and is aware and proactive around those is critical. So there are a variety of Sales 360 applications that bring that visibility to the sales team so they can see how their customers are engaging with your enterprise and also be a little more proactive on how they choose to engage. And then I would say lean into the stuff that you're already probably getting out of the box. I mean, most operations are either Microsoft or Google Shops. Microsoft and Google have phenomenal collaboration communication tools that still to this day, it bogs my mind, go underutilized by sales folks. If you're not using Teams, if you're not using Google Chat, if you're not using these fundamental, relatively free, if you will, capabilities with what we already buy, start there and then begin to build customer dashboards and customer 360 applications around that to serve whatever that specific communication objective is that you're going after.
Thank you so much, Ben, for joining us today and sharing your expertise. I'm really excited for Shift and glad you could join us.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
And for our listeners, remember that Ben will be leading the Hybrid Sales Leveraging Technology for Sales Success session at our upcoming Shift conference in Denver on May 13th through the 15th. You can find all the details about the conference, including registration information, at mdm.com/shift2025. We hope to see you there.